Hi, I'm Laurie Dobson, and I'm doing a third video today. Just got a lot on my mind, as most people do. It's the day after Joe Biden got elected by the electors to be the next president, so that's going to happen. And we had the storming of the Capitol. We had, the whole issue there. And ever since then, it's appeared to be just a huge amount of outcry with people and strong emotions going on everywhere. It'll settle down. I remember when 4 years ago, Bob and I did a video entitled 4 Cents Worth, and we looked at the first 100 days of the Trump presidency with hope that he would address the first 100 things that he was, had promised to do. They were pretty good things for the most part, and we covered them in a couple of different videos. So I'm just, my attitude about what should happen is that when, you have elections, that you don't defraud, you don't blame Russia, you don't find any number of reasons not to be accountable. If there is election fraud, you are accountable and you find it and you correct it. You appoint independent means to analyze and go over it, and you fix the problems. And that gives people a greater sense of faith in their government. And you immediately start working on your campaign promises. When you get into office, you focus on those. If you see a lot of people just excoriating and just, blasting what happened in the protest yesterday, which was unfortunate because it resulted in death and destruction of people's, it just, it was an unfortunate situation. It happened because of a lot of anger, a lot of feelings of unfairness. I think a lot of the lockdown people that were experiencing that and the loss of last year just bubbled up. And it was just a revolt against government in general, not doing their job. So if government didn't do the job under Donald Trump, will government do their job under Joe Biden and Kamala Harris? Will government focus on doing what people need and providing relief? Will there be a focus on that, or will this just be a, sort of a revenge fest where everybody can think of everything angry that they feel towards others? Fomenting violence, creating more of a divide. Michael Moore, for example, just saying they, and calling people terrorists, and saying that maybe there's hope for the generations to come. We can get them into libraries and teach them properly. And just, the classic way of dismissing the concerns of so many people and invalidating people. Instead of listening, instead of treating people like humans and Americans, fellow Americans, and instead treating 74 million people like they're evil and like they're horrible people. And I just believe that is just a huge abdication from the responsibility to take care of all Americans and all people. That is what Biden originally said, that first speech that he gave. So I'm counting on that to be the rallying cry. As long as Democrats do what they say they'll do, and care for people the way they say they will and follow through, then I'm with them. And to the extent that any party does, or any person does, I'm with them. I'm not in favor of people like AOC who say one thing and do another. Kashama Sawant said that the road, the progressives, the road leads to a graveyard. I don't know the exact quote, but I think she understands that progressives have to show they earn the power that has been in the hope that we invest in them to make changes in the system. And there have to be changes in the system. This whole concept of Biden coming in under the promise that nothing would fundamentally change. Well, things have fundamentally changed as a result of what happened. We understand the level of discontent, the level of fury that is felt by so many people. Dismiss it all you will, call them, say that they've lost the election, but nothing is lost for sure. Nothing is lost for good. There could come an uprising where you see the ice flow that is the Democratic Party break off on both sides and become a whole new party. Just people giving up for once and for all on a party that promises but doesn't deliver. And I believe that the Democrats have shown a profound lack of keeping faith with people. The whole thing around Bernie. Anybody that's ever attended a Bernie rally, and I've attended several, knows just how much support he had and what it took, the phenomenal effort it took from his own Democrats to disempower him. And how is that actually working to meet our needs when everything that he represented was supported by a majority of the people? Medicare for all, supported by a majority of people, a huge majority of Democrats. Are they doing our will? Well, they do our will when they get in there. We have, the Democrats have control of all the different branches of government now, except they don't have a majority in the Supreme Court, but I guess they're going to address that too. It looks like they may try. I don't know if this is a good thing or not, but all I can say is I'm not very heartened by looking at things today, looking at the reactions about these evil people, these evildoers. These are people who went to their capital and protested. I don't know much more than anybody else does. We're relying a lot on hearsay evidence. All we know is that a woman was killed, and people don't seem to care much about her, but the way they did about George Floyd. An Air Force vet, four tours, shot right in. It fell immediately as soon as she must have been aimed at, because she was right. It was on the other side of the door, so somebody was aiming at her. They weren't shooting up; they were shooting straight on, and it was not very far away. And then there was a thumbs up over her body by someone in a black outfit with a gun, a long gun. So who knows? And those pictures appeared to be staged inside these barricades. And I don't know. I'm one person looking at this from the outside, and it's not appropriate to make too much conjecture for anybody. But I do think that while we are trying to understand the next move that we should do, why don't we hold our elected officials to account? To proper account. How about we get off of our high horses, stop kicking the guy who's lost, or the party who's lost, or whoever they are. Stop trying to call them names. Stop trying to find another impotent reason to impeach, because I guess we couldn't impeach them on the real grounds of being war criminals, because the Democrats would have been tarred with their own brush, hoisted on their own petard. It's called a double standard, hypocrisy, and it's looking like that's what's shaping up to be the operant mode right now. Everybody's having such a good time hating and dividing. And those are the tactics that they use. An invisible enemy like 9/11, terrorists, or these terrorists now, the invisible enemy of the plague or the virus or whatever, and divide and conquer, and continue to divide and conquer. Well, that's what they're doing, and they're going to just keep cleaving us and cleaving us and cleaving us. Wouldn't it be amazing? Wouldn't it be incredible if all of a sudden everybody just figured it out tonight, today, January 7th? Aha! Oh my God, this is just like Occupy. This is the 1% and the 99%, because somebody's organized this to work for them. No matter what, it'll work to their advantage, and they'll keep making their money. I mean, do we really expect, now that the Democrats are in power, for all the big box, the Target, the big corps, the tech giants, the big pharma, big oil, big everything. Are they going to all of a sudden stop making money? Are the billionaires, millionaires, and billionaires going to stop making money? I don't think so. I think they're poised to make more than ever, this new crew. All we can hope to do is make life difficult for those in power. And that's the job of any decent journalist, any decent person looking to discover the truth, anybody at all that's got videos out there, that's talking to people, that's trying to influence public opinion in any way. You have absolute obligation to look beyond the surface of anything, beyond the obvious split of a Republican or a Democrat or a white person versus everybody else, which is a false dichotomy. You have the obligation to look underneath the surface. Look where the corruption is. Follow the money. Look at who's making the money, the profits, who's getting the power, and who continues to suffer. Well, it's the people. And there were people marching yesterday. They were trying for a form of redress, some fairness. They were barking up the wrong tree. Trump's not going to support them. He's not going to continue to try to be helpful to people. He's consumed with his own feelings. He's going to go. He's promised he'll go peacefully, and the chapter's practically written on that. So let's focus on the next guy. He was just appointed last night, so he is definitely the president-elect. No more cases, no more fighting. Nothing more can be said except let's hold them to account. Let's make them good on their word. Let's make them follow what they said they'll do. Let's force Biden to get those $2,000 checks to people. Let's get some relief in this country. Let's get back on our feet. Let's make them do what they need to be doing. There are no excuses anymore. Let's make them be our public servants. All right, thanks.